It's on Second Thought, episode 359, powered by Hookem.com. Cedric Golden here. And if you heard someone clear their throat on your radio, that's Kirk Bohls. He's known to do that. Go ahead, Doug. Don't hide it. Of the Houston Chronicle. And if you there you go. And if you're watching on video, I'm sorry. We are in the light of day, we are patently hideous. But what more do you want from us? Lots to talk about. Let's start out with a little bit of news, Doc. The Austin
Let's do
American-Statesman has just been acquired by the Corporation. And what does that mean? What does that mean in layman's terms, since you're the newspaper expert here? What does that mean?
Means I'm your daddy.
Oh,
That's too
that's news to
easy.
me. And when are we going to tell mom?
That's
That's
too easy.
do a dang
Yeah.
seance.
No, that means we're brothers again. They can't keep us apart.
Never stop being brothers, but we are under the same corporate umbrella. No long Statesman's no longer owned by Gannett. It's owned by Hearst, which also owns the San Antonio Express News. So that's three of the biggest papers in the state of Texas under one leadership. Exciting news for both fronts. And who knows, on second thought, I might just invite you back again since today's
Really?
first. I said I might. I'm still on
Are,
the fence because I don't like you that much. I
are
don't like.
you are you saying the band's getting back together? Are we tuning up our instruments?
Well, yeah, but I hope it's like the Rolling Stones, that took a couple of years off and then got back together. I don't want it to be a Van Halen thing where Sammy and David Lee just couldn't get on the same page. I don't want to do that.
Don't want that.
I don't
No.
want to do that. So lots to talk about, Doug, lots to digest. We're going to get into hoops a little bit later, but man, your friend and my friend, Christopher Del Conte, the athletic director at the University of Texas, the circus barker, the used car salesman. He loves it when we call him names. Had his annual town hall meeting. And as far as town halls go, I mean, unlike something that we saw this week on television, everybody was standing up and clapping when he walked in. It wasn't a half and half thing. Del Conte has the imagination and the total respect of Longhorn Nation. And it was a wonderful, wonderful event. What did you take away from it? There's a lot of things to unpack in that.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, as you said, CDC was in his element. You give a microphone and an open stage, and God, he went on jeepers for an hour and a half. I forget how long it was. It was
He was in his
long.
bag. He was in his bag.
He was in his bag, and a lot of things, just kind of a few things to hit on. He talked about football a lot, how they're raising ticket prices, which is not the best time, not because they aren't good, because they are, but I was looking at the schedule: Arkansas, Vanderbilt, San Jose State, UTEP, Sam Houston, A&M.
That's hot. That's
Is,
hot.
is it hot?
Hot.
Sam Houston and UTEP and San Jose State. How
Why
hot is
you
that?
hating on the Bearcats?
Uh,
Why
I
you
know.
hating on Spartans? Those are the real Spartans.
Oh,
Who
are
cares
they?
about Michigan State? If you've been in San Jose, those nerds know what they're doing.
Was San Jose in the playoffs last year? I forget. No, no,
I
they
don't
weren't.
know, but I know the last time Texas played them, I think they beat them 58 to nothing. So, yeah, there was
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So it's not that attractive a schedule. And speaking of the Aggies, he said he wanted to play them Friday night, Thanksgiving weekend. I'm down with that. You know, I don't mind Saturday night or Saturday afternoon. But
It'll
yeah,
never be
that's
Saturday afternoon.
no. It's going to be prime time. We know that.
Always, always.
He's moving us, the press box, to the south end zone, only because he can't move us to Chavez Street. And are we going to be able to see anything from the end zone, Sid?
Yeah, the one right in front of us. But here's the problem with it. We're gonna be like right next to the scoreboard. We won't even be able to look at the scoreboard to see the replays. And I know, guys, I hear you out there in your cars at the gym, Mark Rosner. I know you. I hear you going, first world problems.
Ooh.
Ooh, hoo, hoo. You get to watch the games for free. But you know what? The one thing about watching the games, we want to bring you the best coverage possible. So where we're sitting, we hopefully we will still get replays in
He
the press
said,
box.
he said, I was at the women's game Sunday, and he said there's going to be personal monitors in front of the press so we can
Oh,
watch it off
yippee. Oh,
that.
yippee. Great. Great.
So,
But me personally, I love where we were.
yeah,
But
I do too.
I understand they're gonna put some more premium seating, some more suites. They got bills to pay, and I get it. And we appreciate every courtesy that they give us. They take pretty good care of us overall. John Bianco does a really good job over there. And
And we get tips
CDC,
treats
but
too.
CDC is a businessman, so I understand that. And we're inside the stadium. We'll take it.
And we do get tips treats at halftime. So,
Well, whenever you'll go get me one. So
okay, I do. I'm your courier. So,
got to get that A1C up over 7.
and you mentioned the Benjamins, where the press box now sits, and we're talking about the 2026 season. They're converting that to 10 luxury boxes, going for 10 mil a piece. So let's see, math. Maybe carry the one. Okay, that's 100 million smackaroos. And I
That'll
kidded.
buy a couple of left tackles.
Well, I asked CDC that very question. You going to get another Colin Simmons or Khalid Locker or Jamie French or Arch Manning or what? And he went, no, no, no. This is going to the football practice facility under construction that costs 180 million and be ready in June of 26.
Well,
So
here's the
that's
thing,
not
though.
even getting to the players.
Oh, here's the thing. If you got all that money, and who cares what a practice facility is? If the players suck, you better devote some of that money to
Yeah.
getting some Colin Simmons types, some Arches, some Matt Goldens.
And
That's what
speaking of
you
the
need.
money, and
Some
speaking
Dot
of the
Days.
money, he spelled that out at the town hall. They're adding 200 scholarships for a cost of 9.2 million a year. The revenue sharing with all the athletes is coming probably July 1st with the house settlement. So that's about 30 mil there you got to pay for. So that doesn't grow on trees even in Austin, Texas. It's pollen grows on trees in Austin, Texas.
They're
So
still printing money, Duck. They're printing money like it's going out of style.
I know we can't feel
Printing.
sorry for them.
But you know what? Like Biggie Small said, more money, more problems.
Yeah,
As fast as they can make it, they're figuring out a way to spend it. And Texas makes as much as anybody, and they've got to keep building. And what I like about the town hall is he did say they're not going to scrimp on these scholarship increases.
right.
They're gonna keep up with the Joneses. When you think about football will stay at 85 scholarships, baseball will go up to 25. Duck, that's up from 11.7. That's big.
Huge, huge.
Basketball will add 2 to go up to 15. And so when you look at what's coming down the pipe, players are getting money.
Hmm.
The cost of doing business has gone up exponentially, but also this TV money is also big. And so
Right.
they're making big money and they're spending big money because they like our great friend DeLoss Dodds used to say, they're not keeping up with the Joneses, Duck. They are the
It-
Joneses.
His best quote ever. Absolutely. And so they're adding 200 scholarships. And guess how many rowing scholarships they're adding?
Oh my God, I'm sure we buried the lead there. We should have led the show off with
Uh,
that. But don't keep us in suspense.
I will not. They're going from 20 to 68 rowing scholarships. And as you know, Texas is a rowing school.
Yes,
Make
it
no
is.
mistakes about it. And they've done very well in rowing, won national championships. And I'm sure that's Title IX reasoning behind that, try to keep the scholarship numbers level. But it had football staying at 85. It had men's basketball going up 13 to 15. So, but they said they're going to fully scholarship all these athletes, so there's no more partial scholarships. So that'll be interesting, and that's good for the athletes.
And here's what Del Conte had to say about staying at redlining the max and not settling for fewer scholarships just to save a couple of bucks.
But if you look at the existing scholarships, this is what they had. They said there's no longer a roster, there's no longer a scholarship limit. There's a roster limit. So sports and schools are saying, wait a minute, I can keep it at 4 scholarships for golf, but I can have a roster of 9. But this school's really good in, say, tennis. They're going to fund tennis to 9 full scholarships. but they may keep men swimming they may keep men swimming at 9. Another program may say, we're going to go to 22. They're picking and choosing what they're going to do. Some may do no sports because they have to share $20 million in revenue. This is the University of Texas. We're good at everything. We are going to fully fund every single one of our sports at the highest division.
He's in there.
Hmm.
I love what he said. I just like the fact that he understands the consumer wants wins and they want it now. Now.
They do.
Speak,
They do.
speaking of wins, um, Steve Sarkisian was in Indianapolis at the combine. And Tex, for the second straight year, the Longhorns made a lot of noise at the combine, Duck. He's got it going. Matthew Golden, 4.29 in the 40.
Yep. He's the new X-Man, right? I mean, last 2 years, 25 Longhorns at the combine. 25. You and I can remember when they got zero players drafted a couple of times in the last 10 years and have 25 at the last two combines. And like you said, setting the world on fire with Matthew Golden running the 4.29. Isaiah Bond, not quite so good at 4.40. Xavier's record is safe. Quinn looked pretty good. Kelvin Banks, his measurements were better than Will Campbell's, the left tackle at
They
LSU.
didn't like Will Campbell's arms or hands.
I know. And Kelvin Banks, they're talking, oh, he's got to be a guard. I go, oh, no, slow down on that. You
Kevin
know,
Banks can move, though.
he can. He's light on his feet. He's very quick. Gunnar Helm didn't have great numbers. He hurt his ankle on the 40, but
Sure
what a
ran.
baller. What a baller.
He hurt his ankle on a false start and ran a 4.93, and I like Gunnar Helm's faster than that.
Oh yeah, we
And then
know that.
he ran again. And it was like a 4.84. He'll run in the 4.7s in Austin. He'll run
Yeah.
in the 4.7s and he'll get drafted. He's gonna have a good career.
Yeah, Jade Barron, we know he's probably going to be a first rounder. He's, such an instinctive player, tackles well, versatile, could play a lot of different spots. Does he remind you any of Kenny Vaccaro?
Yeah, he does, but he's not as big as
No.
Kenny. Kenny was bigger, thicker.
Yeah.
But yeah, he hits. He's physical. I think Makuba reminds me a little bit more of Vaccaro
Hmm.
than Jade. Jade reminds me a little bit more of Huff. I mean, I know that's his OG.
Hmm.
They play different positions. Jade can play anywhere, and Huff spent a lot of time playing cornerback. He was a safety, but spent a lot of time at corner. He reminds me a lot of Huff because of his instincts,
Yeah.
and I'll just be interested to see how he matches up with these bigger receivers because he's only like 5'11", though. He's
Yeah.
not a big dude.
Oh, he's
But he
not
plays a
huge,
lot bigger than his size.
but he hadn't been hurt a lot either. So he's
But
tough.
he's durable. He's
Very tough,
durable.
very durable. And speaking of DBs, you're looking at Dwayne Aquina coming back, the OG, as you would say, for DB. I talked to Michael Taff at a Sam Ellinger speech a week or two ago, and he said he created DBU because he churned out those first round draft
Yes,
picks,
he
and
did.
it's a
Yes, he did.
big
I
addition
mean,
to replace Rick Wilson.
I mean, the greatest, Quentin Jammer,
Oh yeah,
Aaron Ross, Kenny Vaccaro, Earl Thomas, all first round picks,
yeah.
Duck,
Just go
under the
down the list.
auspices of one Dwayne Aquina, who still, even at, I think he's 68, still has the energy of a guy half that. He's got some Pete Carroll in him, Duck. He's old, but he sure don't coach old. He coaches young. He's gonna be a great addition to that secondary because he knows these UT streets. He knows
Yeah.
tradition. He's got a championship ring on his finger. That's going to go a long way with these youngsters like Jelani McDonald who
Mhm.
want to get where guys like Huff and Ross have gone. So I am so excited to see Akina back. The question is, will we ever get to talk to him?
Yeah, probably not. He's not
I could
DC.
text him, but I don't know that he would text me back now that he's working at Texas.
Well, he's not a defensive coordinator, so we may not. And again, talking to Michael Taft, he said they had a meeting, last week with the DBs, and Coach Aquina said, "I like guys who can run a 4.4. but I really like guys who can play at 4-4, can process
Wow.
and know what they're doing and react instinctively. So that's a big addition for him. It's interesting too how Sark has had to remake his staff somewhat. Losing guys like Terry Joseph and Blake Gideon and another OG Tashard Choice going to the NFL and the Detroit Lions
That was
to
a big one. That was
reunite
a
with
big one.
Jameer Gibbs. That was a big one. And Chad Scott from West Virginia is well regarded. So, but I think this is kind of a sign of the times, don't you? When you're playing at an elite level, people are going to come ravage your staff just like they want to poach your roster for transfer portal guys.
People weren't poaching the roster when they went 5-7.
No, they were not.
He had good retention at
Right.
that point for the
Yeah.
people that he wanted to keep. But now that you're winning, that creates opportunities for
Hmm.
coaches to move up. And it doesn't surprise me that Tashard Choice is in the NFL. I view him as an NFL type
Yeah, I
head
do.
coach. So he's going to have to continue to not only rebuild his roster every year in this NIL era, but also coaches are going to continue to leave. I
Right.
I mean, the good thing is he's got PK and he's
Yeah.
got Kyle Flood. Those are the guys that have helped him build this thing from day one. So though that's the nucleus in that coaching room. And as long as those three are together, and then you add the right pieces, Akina was a great ad. They're
Great.
going to continue to be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, PK and Flood, they're not head coach wannabes, I don't think. I think they're very content to
Mhm.
be here on that staff. And Torrey Beckton, keeping him away from the NFL to be the strength and conditioning coach was huge too. So uh no spring game. That bother
Wow.
you? That bother you?
I know people hate dead air on audio, but I
What were you thinking or
I
what were
had to
you?
give you a little dead air. I was like, do I lie or do I just not say anything?
You say the truth. Give me the
I
truth.
will not miss the spring football game.
I will. I will.
You're just trying to get out of the house. You're just trying to get out of the house. I won't miss it. Now, I'm glad they're doing something for the fans, which lets me know that CDC reads the Statesman because I wrote that and he listened. You're welcome, fans. You're welcome. They're gonna be able to take some selfies with their favorite athletes. The athlete's gonna get to be able to kiss some babies, sign some autographs
You want
because
to see him play. You want to see him
about
catch a ball. You want to see him throw a ball.
do you?
On.
I hate, but I hate it for the people that can't afford to come to a football game, and that's their chance to get to
But
really
yeah.
see them.
And the kids. I
Yeah,
mean, kids can't afford to go to a football game, but they can afford to go free.
but
To
they'll get to see their heroes, and they'll have them in uniform. They may even throw a couple of balls around, run a couple drills, but they're not gonna play the spring football game.
well, what do you remember from last year's spring game? Anything?
I remember ending, and that's what I remember. No,
It was negative.
I remember Arch Manning
Yes.
on the
Light
show.
it up.
That's what I remember.
Yeah, I remember I think Quinn Ewers had 3 snaps and an interception.
Bad. You look
But
bad.
he did. But you know what I remember most? DeAndre Moore lighting it up and coming on.
Yeah, that was
And you remember it was freshmen, DeAndre Moore and Jonte Cook were kind of the guys, and
who?
Jonte Cook, he used to
Oh
be
yeah,
a
yeah.
while back. And but
Praying for you, Jonte. Praying for you.
and DeAndre Moore Jr. flashed in that spring game, and I thought, wow, he has surpassed Jonte Cook, and it came true. He was their number 3 guy last year, and I remember Golden and Bond were a little bit dinged up. Neither one of them did too much because they really weren't healthy. But that's what I'll miss for the spring game: seeing 1 or 2 guys that are like, ooh, we're gonna keep an eye on this guy in August.
So
Not you though.
I just won't miss the game. It's so boring to me. And
It beats practice. Put a little something on the line. And Michael Taff was saying you felt bad for the guys that, okay, here's my chance. I'm going to open some eyes and like, don't forget about me, coach. So I do miss that a little bit.
yeah,
So
but they can do that in practice. And they scrimmage. They have scrimmages where they play.
You do want to excite the fan base, though, don't you? You want to buy Cokes and T-shirts and jerseys and stuff. There's nothing
I'm
wrong
sure the
with that.
concession stand will be open that day, and I'm sure the co-op will be open that day, and the cash registers are going to be singing, Duck. Get your Apple Pay, get your Google Pay ready.
Give me the
Those Manning
money.
jerseys are going to be flying off the shelves. They probably can't keep them in stock.
Bring me the money. So, anything else from the town hall, or do you want to slip on to your basketball
That's
sneak?
good, man. That's enough town hall. You heard CDC. We told you what happened. You liked it. 13 bucks a ticket is not going to kill you if you're already paying 5 grand a year for whatever. I don't know what they're paying,
True.
but
It's a lot.
with your foundation donations, good for
Yeah.
you. But um, Texas men's basketball, they went to Stark Vegas
Yes, they did.
and they tried to give it away. And
Couldn't
Mississippi
do it.
State said, "No, thanks. We'll keep you alive
Yeah. We'll
for
let you
another
have
week." The Texas Longhorns get a stay of execution, 86-82, win, and they're still breathing.
Got a
Play
pulse.
Oklahoma on Saturday. Senior Day, Duck. Senior Day. Don't you love Senior Day?
Not as much as we
And
did, but yeah, I
they are, what are they, 17 and 13 now, Duck?
think that's right.
And
And
6 and 11 in
it's close.
conference play. Are they in? Are they going to play in the NCAA tournament this year? Are they going to play in the NCAA tournament? I'm asking you point blank, big guy.
Okay.
Strap up. Let me know what's up.
Yes, they're going to play in the NCAA tournament.
Homer.
And here's why. I think they'll beat Oklahoma. You just mentioned Senior Day. You just mentioned they got a pulse. It's like, and they're really battling Oklahoma for that last SEC bid. The selection committee's itching to put 13 teams in. Texas is a 13 seed right now. And as such, they would play Georgia in the first round in Nashville next week. And they got a little grudge to settle with the Bulldogs who came in here and strapped a beat down on them. So I think they're more than capable of winning at home against Oklahoma, which is what are they, 4-12 or yeah, 4-12 in conference. Should a 4 and
Homer.
12 team be sniffing the NCAA tournament? I don't think so. So
No.
I say they're going to do enough to get in. They might be in Dayton. I don't know. When the play-in game, I hope not.
Brutal road trip.
But
Oh, that's
we
brutal.
just don't want them in the NIT. So what say you? Said Golden. Are they in? Will they be in? They're not yet, but will they be in?
I wrote weeks ago in your Austin American-Statesman.
Not my Austin American States.
You still subscribe.
That's
Don't
right. Oh,
trip.
we own you. That's right.
Still
We own you.
subscribe.
And we
Don't
own
trip. 7 and 11 would get in. They're six
you.
and 11.
That close
I
to it.
think they get in. I'm going to tell you, I'm not as excited about senior day as I am about the last basketball game, regular season, played by one young Trey Johnson, who
Hmm.
has been great all season. The freshman's going to be a lottery pick, and he has shown up and he's delivered this season. And this is going to be his last game,
Yeah.
regular season. God, if hopefully his last game, period, at Moody. Because if it's not his last game at Moody,
Mm.
we're going to be in hell. I do not like the NIT. I just do not like
They should shoot
NIT.
the NIT. Just put it out of its misery. Just shoot it. I'll
There is
tell
a
you.
banner. There's a banner in the gym, but
Well, I tweeted, at the Mississippi State game in the second half, I said the NCAA should just invite Trey Johnson in. I
I'm
mean,
in. I'll pay to
yeah,
watch him. He's worth it.
he's worth the price of admission. And those are things I think they have in their advantage that the SEC strongest it's ever been. And if they can, win that first round Nashville tournament game, it helps with you. Texas is as big a brand as you're going to have, not as big in basketball as football, mind you. And Trey Johnson, the committee is going, boy, I think a lot of the nation would like to see this guy in the NCAA tournament. People that haven't seen him yet. So I do think they have those three things, in its favor.
I love the fire from Trey Johnson. You saw him getting into it with
Oh,
Arthur
he
Palmer.
cares.
He wants to get in this tournament. He's
Yeah.
competing. He's not counting down the days till he gets the hell out of
Oh,
here to go be a lottery pick. No, he wants to play in the
yeah.
NCAA tournament. Who doesn't? What kid doesn't grow up wanting to play in March Madness? So I believe they're going to beat OU. I will feel better about their chances if they went in and won that first game against
Oh,
Georgia
yeah.
in the
Definitely.
in the conference tournament. I think that would for sure get them in. But don't they have like five? Is it five or six quad one wins now?
Yeah, I think it's five, I think.
That's
We got that here
respect.
somewhere. Yeah, they're
That is
5-9 in quad one, 2-4 in quad two. Here's the other thing, even though Texas net's 41 and OU's 50, quad one and quad two, Texas is 7-13, OU's 8-11, so a little bit better there.
but once
So
te if Texas beats them, they
yeah,
get to yeah,
that would be a sweep. They would
that'll be a
sweep.
sweep. So yeah,
That's
that'll
big.
let you know. They need Tremont Mark to do that again. And I don't know that he's had two good games in a row all season, but they need him to do what he did again. 24 points, making big shots, getting to the bucket, making his free throws. He was wonderful, wonderful in
You
Starkville.
got to have a second weapon.
You
You got to
got
have
to
that
have
second
because
offense.
you just don't have a lot. And Jordan Pope had his ups and downs. He made a big jumper to start overtime. So Rodney Terry is not out of the woods, I don't think.
No, not
I
yet.
don't know that they bring him back if they don't make the tournament. The problem, Duck, is $6 million buyout basically, and
Mhm.
then you got to go get somebody else and pay their buyout because they're a good coach. So you're
Yep,
looking at what, 12 or 13 million, probably, maybe more.
maybe
You still
more.
got to pay the guy.
Exactly. If it could be 20 million price tag or higher, and that's real money,
Do you really care enough about hoops to do that? If you're a
they
city,
need to, not just because it's Texas and they care about every sport, but that's their revenue. That's their second revenue sport. And they got to have that making money. And when you see the women, three straight sellouts at Moody Center for the women and
taking care of business, Vic Schaefer taking care of it.
co-champions. And then you look at the men and fans are leaving at halftime, said that Georgia game.
That was horrible.
Wow, they were leaving at halftime. It was just very sad, and that's not lost on Chris Del Conte. And you and I both really like Rodney. He's a class individual, super guy.
But this
But
is business.
it's a business, and he hasn't shown he's an alpha coach yet. So he's got to get it turned around, and that ship righted fast, and make some noise here in March if he wants to keep his job.
You got to remember, he left a head coaching position to come be an assistant.
He
So,
did.
how many alpha coaches do that? So,
He did.
so though you did mention the women, 29 and 2, Doug, number one in the country,
Crushing it.
SEC tournament, number two seed after because Greg Sankey doesn't know how to flip a coin. But none of that matters. It's going,
Yeah.
they asked us to fill out a SEC tournament bracket, and I was trying to get all fancy and have a couple of twists in there. And then at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? I was like, I think I might have Oklahoma beating South Carolina. And then I looked, I'm sorry, what that score was when they played. And South Carolina beat them by 41. So I decided to go chalk, Doug. I went
Yeah.
chalk. So I just
Kind
say,
of close to Columbia.
but
Greenville's
Madison
close to
Booker
Columbia.
makes SEC Player of the Year, and Nary another Longhorn is on the first two teams. But they won the conference. I'm sure Vic Schaefer was happy about that.
Yeah, not so much. He was, you could tell, you could see the smoke coming out of his ears. He's like, I got to be careful with what I say, but yeah, he was not happy with that. I mean, where's Tater Jones? Where's Roy Harmon? Where's Kyla Oldacre, Shea Holly? I mean, LSU had three players on the first team. LSU, and they finished third. South Carolina only had one on the first team, and Texas, same way. But it just gives them extra
I
fuel.
don't blame Vic for feeling
I
some kind
don't.
of way about that. Because of all the teams, they are deep. They have weaponry. They can go 10 deep.
Yes.
Got a lot of drop off, and they've got different players. Unlike the men who are so top heavy with Trey.
Yeah.
Unlike the men, they have several players contributing every night consistently. Because
Yeah.
we don't know what we're going to get from Trayvon Mark, but we know we're going to get from Taylor Jones. We're going to get damn near a double double every
Yeah.
night. We're going to get 8 to 10 and 5 or 6 assists from Rory. So
Hmm.
they have defined roles. Oldacre is the most overlooked big girl in the country.
It's good,
She
yeah.
played more minutes, she'd be averaging a double double. I think she's going to really be great next year.
I think she's got a good handle, good positioning, good footwork. No,
She
no,
can
you're
move,
right.
and she's up
Yeah,
top playing defense above the 3 point circle. At 6'6", she might be the biggest post in America,
might be.
and
Might
she can move. She is, I think she's a star in the making. Taylor Jones overcoming early injuries to turn in a banner senior year, made herself some WNBA money. She's going to get picked in the draft.
think so too. And like I said, they're crushing. They've won 13 in a row since that debacle in Columbia against South Carolina. And Vic told us this week that yeah, we're playing with an edge. We got more of an edge, and the all SEC teams just give them a little more fuel, a little more motivation. And we all worry about the lack of 3-point shooting, and that's kind of their
Matt,
Achilles heel.
they don't have any, Duck. There's not like
Oh,
they just
okay.
don't have any. They
Shay
don't.
Holly, Shay Holly makes some, so
Yeah.
they average three a game.
They don't need it. I mean, what I like, Duck, is if I grew up watching the NBA in the 1980s, and that's how they play. They play it like the 19, more like 88, 89. It's not a up tempo, but they dump
Mhm.
it into their big girls, and their big girls try to score. And if they don't score, they dump it back out. And there's a capable player in Madison Booker that can knock down mid-range jump shots before the threes became in vogue. So they play a 1980s NBA style, which I loved back in the day. And will it catch up to them? I don't know. I
Who
don't
knows? Who knows?
I'm afraid they might run into a team when we're talking down the line, Final Four, a team like Notre Dame, which kind of ran
Mhm.
them off the court with Olivia Miles and Hannah Hidalgo. North Carolina State has 3 or 4 really good guards.
They
Those
do.
are the kind of teams that you wonder if they get into like a shootout, if Texas will be able to keep up. But they got
Yeah.
those big girls, and not everybody has a couple of big girls like
Uh-huh. They're
that. And
versatile.
Bulky herself goes, you know me. I
Yeah.
play them both at the same time. She made a lot. She won championships with Twin Tower type lineups.
It's a little bit like Sark said all year long. We're very versatile. We can beat you a lot of different ways, and same goes for Vic Schaefer's women. And like I said, it'll be interesting. They should make a deep run. Baseball's in town. Won 10 in a row since that 10 inning loss to Louisville. They're ranked 12th in the nation now. They're starting to hit a little bit more. Got a two-headed monster at the top of the rotation and Jared Spencer and Luke Harrison. And they've given up, I think it's 4 earned runs in 31 innings between the two. So, are you impressed so far?
Yeah, yeah, I am, and I've seen a couple of games. They play Santa Clara. If you want to go out to the dish this weekend, 3 games set, and 6:30 Friday, 2 o'clock Saturday, 1 o'clock Sunday. I think me and Doug might be there on Sunday. We don't know yet. We will. You see us, you see us. But um, I like Mendoza.
Yeah,
Couldn't hit anything when I was watching, and now he's
crushing.
blistering hot. He's above the Mendoza line, literally, and
Oh, yeah.
um, lot of opposite field home runs,
Mhm.
which points to play discipline to me. And so I think you couldn't ask for a better start for Coach Schloss. I think he's happy. Still wonder who the closer is going to be because there's going to come a time when they're not run ruling guys where there's going to be 4-3 in the ninth. Who you going to be able
Right.
to call on? Is it going to be Will Mercer? Is it going to be Ruger? Who's it going to be that you give that ball to, or is it going to be a committee, which I hate?
I know. I kind of think it'd still be Ruger Rios, the UTS guy. UTSA guy transfer who was a starter and reliever. He had like 10 wins, 8 saves, something like that. I still think he's kind of going to go be the guy. I was just checking out the SEC standings today. You know, there are two teams undefeated, defending national championship, Tennessee and Alabama, 12 and 0 and 13 and 0. 8 other SEC teams have one loss. One. That's 10 pretty rugged teams, and the Aggies have fallen from number one.
Look out early, look out
They're
early.
6-5, a disappointing 6-5. So I'm sure the Aggies are looking forward to playing Texas in April over at the Dish.
Not how you start, Duck. It's how you finish, and they're not finished by a long shot. But man, so good to catch up. We are back in the same family. I'm gonna go have a seance and tell mom, ask her why she held out on me and not told, didn't tell me that Kirk Bohls was actually my father. Why is my credit rating so low if you're my father? That's okay. We'll talk about that more. But for now, that will do it for episode 359 of On Second Thoughts. So fun to visit with you guys. We will see you. Thank you for watching on YouTube. That thing's blowing up, Doug. YouTube's blowing up. Thanks for listening on your podcast, wherever you get them. And if you see us, please hail us. We like seeing our people out and about. Duck, be well. And if I see you at the dish, I'll see you at the dish.
Don't be a stranger, friend.